Hello YouTubers, I'm Justin, and today on Dashandrun we're finally going to be doing the review of the camera that I recently did an unboxing for, and that is the Polaroid Socialmatic Instamatic camera. Now basically in this review I want to cover the software and also show you how to load the film, print it out, and also give you my opinion on whether this is actually any good as an Instamatic camera. Now if you want to see what actually came in the box and also the button layout, please check out my unboxing video because it's in that video. Alright, now the first thing I want to do is to increase the internal memory. Now it only has 4 gig of internal memory, but I want to add a micro SD card, and this one's a class 10 16 gig. So basically to increase your memory on this camera, you've just insert it into this little slot here on the side. So we'll just put this one in like so. Okay, so now we've inserted the memory. The next thing I want to do is to show you the turning on of this camera. Now this is something I consider a negative because it takes an awful long time to boot up. So basically you have to hold the button down on the top like so until the green light comes, and then the splash screen will come up, and then you have to wait an incredible long time for it to boot into the actual operating system. So I will speed this up in the video edit, but I will give you the actual time so you can see how long it actually takes on the screen. Okay, so you can finally see it's booted up now. It took an incredibly long time, 42 seconds to be precise, so it's probably something you wouldn't want to turn on just to get a shot. You'd basically leave it on so that you can get your shots, otherwise you'll be just waiting too long for it to start. Anyway, now you can see it started up. It probably looks very familiar. That's because it's running an Android 4.4.2 operating system. Anyway, what we'll do now is go through some of the features on it. So as you can see here, you've got your basic Android operating system, and I'm not going to cover that because it's basically an Android tablet and there's plenty of those. But what we're actually going to look at are these two. Now this one here basically allows you to set the various options of this device, and as I said, most of them work, but it seems to have this very flaky operation where it will suddenly stutter or have trouble connecting, which is really annoying. Now we'll go back to the other screen. Now this will bring up the actual Polaroid Socialmatic apps. Now this one is to sign into their site. I suppose it's a bit like Instagram, but you could also use Instagram anyway on this camera, so you don't really need to use that. And then on this side you have 3 icons. Now the top one is for the gallery, and that's basically just to view the images and photos and whatever you have on this device. This one next to it is for printing, and then the one below is to actually operate the camera. So if we click that button like so, we'll bring up the camera. Now you can see that the camera doesn't have a lot of features on it, and it has no ability to actually do video. Now you can do video on this, and I will show you the video that I have recorded, and I used one of the apps on the Android store to actually do the video, but the actual app that they include with this doesn't offer you the option of doing video. Now you've got at the top, you can basically turn on and off the flash, and then over this side you have a few settings. You have a setting for your white balance, and then for your exposure, and of course you also have your ISO setting, and you have below that you have your HDR setting. So you can see there's a few options there, but not much. Now if we go back, you can see that you've also got an option to reverse the camera around to the other side, and again I wouldn't recommend that because the camera is actually of quite a low quality and not something I think is particularly good. Now this button here basically takes you back to the previous screen, so you can go back to print something. So if we go back to the actual main photo screen, you've got this button here for taking stills, or you can use the actual button on the top to activate the trigger and fire your images so that you can take your shot. So what I want to do next is basically take some shots and show you what it's like when you take a shot, and then I'll also show you what it's like to load up the film and to print from it. Okay, so I've got my test subject for my photo, and that's a little snowmobile from Call of Duty. And so what we want to do is take a picture, and so I'm going to show you what to do to take a picture. So basically there's no optical stabilizer in this camera, and of course there's no tripod mount, so you've got to hold it quite still. Now you tap on the screen to focus on the image you want, and I've turned off the flash, and basically you've got two options. You can either use the trigger at the top, or you can use the on-screen button like so, and that's taken a picture, and then that will bring you to the next screen where you can actually edit your image before you print it, or you can just save it and look at it later and decide if you want to delete it. Anyway, what I'll do now is I'll show you how to load the film in this thing. Okay, so let's show you how you load the film in this camera. Now, you get the film in these packs like this, and there's 3 in this pack, and each pack has 10 shots in a packet. So they come in individual packs with 10 shots. So let's open this up and load this in. So basically, you can see that they come with 10 films and a blue card, and you basically want to put the blue card at the bottom. So if we open this unit up like so, and we'll just put these cards in like so, you'll see that once it's all in and I shut this, it should print. The first one should come out when I go to print. So if I go to the camera app, it should do this now, and now what it's doing is basically it's calibrating the printer, and so the first card that will come out will be the blue card. Okay, so now the blue card is out, the printer on this has been calibrated, so it's ready now to take pictures. So if we go to the print app on this device, and I'll select an image, so let's select Claptrap. Now this is something I took earlier. Now you have a whole host of settings where you can add titling and effects and everything to that image. So you can put all sorts of things on there, as you can see here. You can really play around with the image, which is really good. But if you just basically want to print the image straight off, you basically just hit the tick up the top here, and that will say yes. And then you've got a number of options here where you can select how many copies you want, and I only want 1. And then basically you hit the print button like so, and now it's about to print it. Now it takes a while to warm up the printer, but once it's printed out, it's already printed, unlike a Fuji Instamatic camera where when it prints you have to wait for it to develop. This is different. This will actually come out already printed and ready to view. And as you can see, that's the finished product, and it looks pretty good. Now these are also sticky back, so you can take them off and you can stick them in albums, so that's really quite nice. And as I said earlier too, you can actually add content from other cameras that you've uploaded to this or whatever, and print them out from this printer as well. So that's another great feature. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the video capability of this camera, and then my wrap up at the end. Alright, so we're going to do a video test, and I have just pre-warned that you can't actually use the Polaroid app for this, so I've had to get a third-party one from the Play Store to do the video side of things, and this camera is really not designed for video. So this is my test of 1080, 720 and standard definition using the third-party app. Okay, so we've now set the camera to 1080p, and as you can see the recording capabilities are really bad. It's only doing about 9 frames a second, so it's not really usable video. Alright, so we've now set it to 720p, and it seems to be doing 14 frames a second, so it's still not the 30 frames I need, but at least it's a little bit better. But it shows that this camera is definitely not designed for video. And finally, we've now got 480p, which is standard definition, and it's finally doing 30 frames a second. But you can see the video quality is really quite average, and I suppose it's mainly designed for stills. Well, there you go. There's a bit of a look at the Polaroid Socialmatic camera, and overall it's not a bad camera, but there's lots of features that need to be improved. It definitely needs more updates to the firmware and the operating system. It could do with a tripod mount, definitely, and it doesn't really have any real video capabilities, which is also a sad feature. But on the plus side, I really like the fact that you can print photos on the go, and of course you can add photos to it, and I also like the look of it. It has a fun look about it. So overall, I can probably recommend it, but also just wait and see if there's more firmware updates, or even if there is an update to this model down the track. Anyway, I'm Justin, and as always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.